Rich Ensor is the MAAC Commissioner. MAAC Mondays, we've been taking a look at the MAAC Basketball Championships. They're coming to Boardwalk Hall March 10th through the 14th. You know, that's going to be here before you know it, man. March Madness is almost here. Super Bowl's behind us, and now it's the March to March Madness. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to go check out some of the games. Great basketball coming to Atlantic City. And Commissioner Ensor is with us to talk a little bit more about how this all came about. You know, I'm very interested why Atlantic City was picked. You know, we had the A-10 here in the past, and now the MAAC Basketball Championships. And we had a couple of, what was it, Monday before we left for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. We were talking about how wide open the NCAA tournament is. That I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a team from this conference get to the Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite 8 because of how wide open it is. But let's bring in Commissioner Rich Ensor. He's with us now on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN, and we appreciate his time. Rich, how are you, man?
Gentlemen, good to be on board. Just got back from Atlantic City. We're down at visiting the New York Avenue School today with the Manhattan women's basketball team. So everybody's getting excited now that we got that other game out of the way last night.
Well,
move on to the real sport of basketball.
I will tell you, I was at the Battle by the Bay yesterday, and right when I walked in, the first thing I saw was a huge banner with your conference logo on it. So it was proudly displayed at that tournament yesterday. And I'm interested to see, Rich, why Atlantic City? What stood out? What was appealing? You have a 3-year run coming to Boardwalk Hall. How did this kind of come about?
Well, we've had a long-range goal of getting to a neutral site. And so we've been playing in arenas since our league was formed. We started at the old Brendan Arena back in the day. But, you know, for 30-some-odd years, we've been pretty much in cities that had host schools playing in the buildings. Most recently, we spent 5 years at the Times Union Center in Albany. And it was always felt that while they were great facilities, there was that home court edge that went to the team that was hosting. And so when the opportunity presented itself to move into Boardwalk Hall, not on our traditional weekend. We have always played the early weekend, but move on to the final weekend of the season. We jumped at it, and the Boardwalk Hall administration, the CRDA, the Atlantic City Sports Commission, and our hotel people, they've all stepped up and really put together a very attractive bid that brought us into the city.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because you're looking for a neutral site there. What is your expectations in terms of travel for some of the schools? I mean, is that something that is worrisome, or is this something you think that your member schools will be excited about?
Well, I think they are excited about it. We've set up what we call AC activation teams at all our campuses. All 11 schools have actively participated. And you've got to remember, while we don't have anybody playing in there every home game, we do have 3 New Jersey-based schools. We have 5 within 90 miles of the arena. So it's not like it's, going to the Midwest for a tournament. We feel pretty confident that fans will come, and especially with all the attractions that Atlantic City has to offer. It's not just about the basketball. You've got first-rate hotels with great rates that really put together some super packages for our fans. We've got the entertainment and dining options. And frankly, with the advent of sports gambling, while the fans won't be able to bet on MAAC games because they're being played in the state, we're going to have all the other championships going on, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, Big East. So frankly, for our younger demographic that wants to come down and have a weekend of March Madness and attend the MAAC tournament, it should really work well for them.
Now, did you talk to the A-10 at all about their experience here? Did you pick their brains at all?
Oh, yeah. Linda Bruno, who was commissioner in those days, is a good friend of mine. She's actually on the Iona College Board of Directors. So she's been helpful behind the scenes in terms of both the presentation of the bid and all the elements we should be looking to activate around. And we not only did a deal with the arena, we also brought on a new marketing company, Van Wagner Marketing. Jim Garino is our sales rep. Has been out getting, a lot of different sponsorship packages. He was the title sponsor with New Jersey Army National Guard for our esports tournament. we're about to announce this week a new deal with title sponsor for the basketball championship. So there's support out there, and the fact that it's in such an attractive site only makes it that much easier for Van Wagner to go out and sell.
Rich, by the way, I haven't heard someone refer to the Brendan Byrne Arena in at least 20 years. That brings back a lot of memories, my friend.
Yeah, well, you got to be at least over 60 to even recall that. But yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. There's a good New Jersey flavor here, also. Though I mean, you see that Monmouth is obviously 7-3 right now. I believe 13-8. So they're a team that you would think can kind of draw. It's not backyard per se because AC is still quite south. But I mean, it seems like that's a good starting point for drawing. And then some names. You know, we noticed Shaheen Holloway is a coach in the league. He played at Seton Hall, and Greg Paulus we had on last week, who played at Syracuse and Duke, two different sports. So we see a lot of attraction to what's going on here.
Baker Dunleavy
right.
was with Jay Wright over at Villanova, and he was down. He played in December in that one tournament that was held there. So and Quinnipiac 6-4. Yeah, I think there is a lot of local flavor, and in fact, Monmouth, they're very active right now. They just announced a deal last week with Bally's, where the Bally's Hotel is going to be their headquarters. Iona College announced a deal with Caesars. So you see our different major programs are all stepping up and doing side deals with hotels and restaurants. So their fans are excited. Iona's having a little bit of a down year. They've had Tim Klus out all year with illness.
Right.
Head coach there who had won 4 in a row. So I think they were expecting better things this year, but they haven't quite recovered with his absence. But right now we have with Monmouth at 7-3, but in fifth place in Siena at 6-5. We literally have 5 teams there within a game or two. Manhattan's 5-5. I'm not sure who's going to win this thing, frankly. Every time I think someone's starting to get on a roll, for instance, Siena had won 3 in a row, and then they go out and lose at St. Peter's, which is just their snake bitten there. They've lost 10 in a row at Giannidelli Center in Jersey City. So I don't know what's in the water there, but Siena hasn't quite figured it out. But and Ryder, they've struggled a little up and down, but they're 6-5, certainly within striking distance. So I think for the teams that are coming in here, we've got a pretty good New Jersey flavor. And then you've got the ability to tell your team, listen, you're 3 games away from the NCAA championship. It's all about seeding now. It's all about maybe getting that bye at the top end of the bracket, and then seeing what happens when you get here and put it together. And a key ingredient of that is going to be bringing fans into the stands. And so I think all the schools understand that and are working it pretty hard back on campus.
We're talking with Rich Ensor. He is the commissioner of the MAAC. Their championship is coming, men's and women's, to Boardwalk Hall, March 10th through the 14th. Now, Greg Paulus was on with us last week, and he was excited because the team that makes it, and most likely it would be a one-bid league, the champion will go, and that will be it, but that team, it's so wide open that you could be in Atlantic City watching a team that makes an exciting run. And that's something that seems exciting about conferences of your magnitude right now, is that it is wide open for schools of your size.
Yeah, you always kind of say there's a lot of parity, but frankly, I've never seen anything like this in a long, long time. And they're all playing pretty well. It's, they'll have a bad night here or there, but it's not like they're not playing well 2 out of 3 games. It's just they haven't been able to put that distance between them and the next team on the standings. So St. Peter's has won 4 in a row, and now they're in second place. I know Shaheen's pumped about that, and he's been a big supporter coming down to Atlantic City. King Rice at Monmouth, he's a seasoned pro now, and he's got that team playing very well right now. They just they've shown the ability now to regroup after some graduation last year, and he's got them playing really well. And I like what Baker's done at Quinnipiac. Now they're on a bit of a losing streak. They just lost 1, but they had been on a pretty good run. So no, I think it's legit. This is wide open and should drive a lot of fan interest.
Yeah.
And we've been really working hard in the local market. I'm sure you've noticed some of the things we've been doing with both the school board, but we're going to be rolling out a lot of group sales options. We're having any number of different discounts out for different groups that are partner with us, like the NJDA, which is the teachers union. And I know I was just at a planning meeting this morning where we talked about bringing in the 2,000 students for the bus brigade on March 13th for the women's semifinal. So anytime you bring 2,000 screaming school children into an arena, it's going to be exciting for them. Let's see college basketball at that.
I think
we're really...
Yeah, and I think it'll certainly evolve. As you said, 3-year deal, right? So it should continue to build, and hopefully the local people will go down and check out some good basketball, because it's a high-quality brand of basketball. But as you mentioned, it is incumbent on the schools to bring fans with them and kind of, it's a big building. I mean, I guess you've been in the Albany building, which is probably about the same size, but, it's a nice-sized place. And if the schools can get some support and the local people come out 2 years down the road, this thing could really be something cool and special that everybody looks forward to.
Yeah, I think, we'd like to really hit a home run this year and then we'll start talking about an extension, because that is our long-range goal, to be able to stay in the neutral site. And the way it's working with the hotels right now, I really feel good about it as a host city. And frankly, we just submitted some, we've done our first NCAA bid with the arena as well down at Boardwalk Hall. We just put in for a women's basketball regional. I don't know that we'll get it, but by establishing our interest, and as we build the MAAC there, we'll be able to talk to the NCAA folks about different championship opportunities in that regard, too.
Oh, that would be cool.
For those of you that are a little bit more interested in the online aspect of competition, we also have the esports championship that'll be hosted there on Friday and Saturday this year. So you'll be able to buy one ticket and go to either event and go back and forth between them. And we're hoping, like, the young kids that want to come out and see the esports will bring their parents, who will go into the main arena and watch the basketball. So it's going to be one big festival of sports and a lot of different things that will be going on in our Fan Fest as well.
Very cool. That's March 10th through the 14th. Yes, the Adrian Phillips Ballroom will have the esports, so Overwatch, all that kind of stuff. If your son or daughter
stuff, let me tell you,
are involved in
you
that.
You haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And here's the thing I'll tell you from Albany, and the ESPN station up there was always big on this. We have mac and cheese coming to Atlantic City. It's been one of our biggest hits in the Fan Fest over the years in Albany. It's going to be on Friday afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m. on the 13th. And we have 13 regional restaurants signed up to do sampling, and they're all vying to become the best mac and cheese provider at this year's tournament. So I know you guys don't probably eat any of that stuff. But
well, I
love mac and cheese.
I just saw the two guys from Albany at Radio Row in Miami. I think they've eaten too much mac and cheese.
Yeah, there is a case to be made for that, although I'm not anybody that talks.
Well, Commissioner Rich Ensor from the MAAC Championship, they're going to be here, men's and women's, March 10th through the 14th. Just a sample of what you'll see. It should be great basketball. We appreciate some time.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
You got it. And that's March 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th at the championship. The winner will be heading to the NCAA tournament, which, man, will be starting here in about 2 months. Can't wait. And that one, we're going to be broadcasting live on that Friday, the Friday of the tournament in Atlantic City.